Hey everybody, it's Andrew here at Vespa Portland, taking a ride on a very chilly day. So if you hear my voice kind of shaking, it's because it's not warm out, and hopefully my nose doesn't start running. Anyway, this video is about how to park defensively. Unfortunately, every single year we have 30 to 50 people who come in saying that their bike was knocked over, typically because a car backed into it while parking or while leaving a parking spot. And sometimes that damage is not a huge deal. You know, you get a bent brake lever or maybe a kind of busted mirror, that sort of thing. It's not incredibly expensive to get fixed, but sometimes the damage is a lot worse. On a plastic bodied scooter, you could have broken body panels that need to be replaced. But on the more kind of premium Vespa products, they're metal frame scooters with higher quality paints, like car quality level paint on these things. Knocking a scooter over and having a bunch of damage on the side of it, if you want to get it back to looking nice and new, it's going to require body shop work. That means taking the scooter to a body shop for an estimate, and then once that's obtained, there's labor hours involved in getting the scooter disassembled so that it can be painted, and then of course reassembled once painting is finished. And those prices can go up quite a bit. So say for instance the cowl back here, which is a pretty common place that sees damage when a bike falls over, it can be up to $800 or more just to respray the paint on that cowl. And on these newer matte color scooters that have been coming out from Vespa, they look really good, but if you do knock them over, it's expensive because the matte colors, you can't really match them perfectly, and so body shops, instead of trying endlessly to try to match the shade of the other side of the bike that's not damaged, they'll instead just insist on spraying both sides, this cowl and the one on this side as well. And you know, that can get up into the $2,000 range. So if you're getting insurance involved and this is an older scooter, you could potentially get into the totaled range, total out your bike. Crash scooters, knocked over scooters are definitely good for business in your local scooter shop's service department, but it's always a bummer to have your scooter get knocked over. We're going to break this down into 3 different parking situations: on a street, on a hill, and in a parking spot, because there's definitely things you want to think about when you park in each of those places. So right now I'm heading over to a hill where we'll do our first one. This is North Interstate heading north. I'm on a hill. This is North Interstate, and I believe it's Albina. The way you're going to want to park on a hill like this is with your front wheel facing up the hill. That is going to allow you to come off the bike like so, put it on the center stand, and gravity, right, is going to be working with the bike pulling that direction. The stand comes this direction, so there's no chance that the bike will just accidentally roll off the stand. It's not going anywhere. It's pretty strong, pretty set, everything's good. Now if I go this way, still pretty fine, you know, perpendicular to the curb, still no big deal. I wouldn't park like this personally on a very steep hill, because the bike could literally be kind of like angled like this and maybe easily fall over that direction. You definitely don't want that. But the main thing on a hill is you don't want to park like this with your front wheel facing down. Parking in this manner, it wouldn't be very hard for your bike to get knocked over. Imagine a car right here, and they go to pull out of their spot and they just slightly bump this. Like, you're really risking your bike coming off the stand and just falling straight over on its side. So best practice on a hill, park this direction with your front wheel facing up the hill. All right, now we're heading up to North Mississippi Avenue in North Portland to take a look at parking on a busy street. All right, so here we are on North Mississippi, and I'm looking for a parking spot. This, not ideal. Parking between 2 cars like that, there's a good chance that the car in front of you is going to just back up into you. Whereas something like this, way more room, makes more sense. So let me start with something you shouldn't ever do. Parking with your nose into the curb is actually illegal in Oregon. Don't do that. You're risking a parking ticket. But also, it's a little bit sketchy when you try to leave, because this is typically a busy road. It's kind of dead right now, but you got to do this whole backup thing to get out of the spot, right? Instead, if you park like this, the gravity is working for you because of the crown of the road, so the bike is kind of pushing back into its center stand, more stable. But also when you leave, you have full visibility. I got this bus coming on my left side, and I have full visibility to that before I pull out into traffic. If you can, ideally, you want to park at the front of the block. You can see there's room right here. There's also a car. So I'm going to back into the parking spot, as I was talking about earlier, and put the scooter right here. Now what this does is there's no threat of my scooter being backed into because there's no car in front of me. And behind me, whenever the driver comes back to this car, they can see the scooter in front of them. It's not lost in the blind spot. It's not lost behind the trunk that's maybe too high where they can't see it in the rear view mirror. They can see the scooter and are going to be able to maneuver around it. You can get the same effect if you park right before a driveway. Obviously don't block a driveway, but pretend this curb cut right here was a driveway. Same deal. It's as far forward as you can go where cars are going to park. Also, this situation leaves this car some room. They have, 4, almost 5 feet of room to crank the wheels and head out that way. I'm not parked right up on them where they're going to have to, maybe someone pulls in behind them and they have no room and they have to do the back and forth thing and then go out. There's no chance really, other than complete negligence, that someone in this situation would knock over your scooter. Here I am further up on North Mississippi. Actually, Rock, Paper, Scissor is right here, and its owner is a Vespa rider. You should check out that store if you need any stationary needs. If you absolutely have to park behind a car, see if you can get some portion of your scooter to be visible in the rear view mirror. And of course, give them room. Don't park right up on someone's bumper. Give at least 3-4 feet of room. Another scenario where we see a lot of people report that their scooter was knocked over is parking really close to a corner just like this. You can see that at this intersection, if a car was going to be turning right, they're going to look to their left to see if any cars are coming before they go. The problem with that is, with these busy streets, there's this big line of cars parked here. You can't really see anything. So people start making their turn as they keep looking, and then it might be too late and they're running right into your scooter. We've had a lot of scooters knocked over in this manner. Parking too close to the corner could invite a car driver to cut the corner and knock over your scooter. While we're here, we'll talk center stand. The scooter you have most likely has a center stand. You can see down there it's got that 2-prong. If you do have a side stand installed on your scooter, we really don't recommend using it. We've seen people use the side stand only, and they'll be parking on some gravel or something like that, which slides and the whole bike falls over. Your center stand is always going to be your most stable option when parking, and we recommend using that in public all the time and just forgetting that you even have a side stand. Next up, you always want to look where you are parking your scooter and what it's going to be on. You've got, in the center stand configuration, a front wheel that's touching the ground and 2 little metal posts basically that touch the ground. What you want to watch out for is storm drains, for example. This is not going to get close enough, but if this was a larger drain and you popped these 2 pieces down onto it, they could easily fall between that. Your scooter can fall over, that sort of thing. Same deal with grass. You park on grass, it's real easy, even with my fingers, to press into this grass. So obviously the weight of your scooter is going to do that as well. If one side sinks in too far, your scooter can fall over. Pay attention to what you're parking on and give your scooter a little shake before you leave to make sure that it's sturdy. And obviously lock the steering. I haven't been doing that in this whole video just because I'm moving from spot to spot. But of course, you want to lock your steering, bars all the way to the left, key all the way to the left and out, and then that leaves you in a very secure place. Another thing you want to avoid is what I've just done here, where I've got the rear wheel. It was so close to the curb that when I went to put it on the stand, the wheel contacted the curb. And you can see that the stand is not exactly in its normal spot. It should be more like this, but it's more up. That means the stand's not fully engaged, and it won't take a heck of a lot to fall off of the stand. You're going to want to make sure that you're far enough away to where the stand can do its thing, and the wheel, nothing is causing any pressure to push this direction on the scooter, which could make the stand fail. Next up, I'm going to pull into this parking lot to show you some of the best practices for parking in an actual parking space. I'm going to go try to find a spot between 2 cars. How about right here? So in a normal parking spot in a parking lot, the main thing is you want to be visible. You want to dominate your parking spot. So as you can see, I've chosen a spot in the middle of the the parking space and a little more toward the opening. I've done that for 2 reasons. First thing is, you don't want to be too far to the left or to the right, because the car next to you could open the door right into your scooter, knock it over, or scratch it. Also, somebody in a smaller car might think that they can share the space with you. I've actually seen someone try to do this to me in a Mini Cooper in a smart car. When I parked too far over, just kind of in a hurry, they shared the space. You don't want to do that. A benefit of parking in the middle but also toward the opening of the spot is that if, say, I'm in a car right now, you can clearly see that there's something in this spot. If I'm parked too far forward, maybe the driver thinks it's an open spot, cranks the turn, and then realizes last second, oh, whoops, there was a scooter way up here that I didn't see, and then rear ends the bike and knocks it over. I've seen this happen, unfortunately. People, they get kind of excited about their open spots and just rush into them. Sometimes there's something sitting there. Dominate your spot, be visible, be as visible parking as you are when you ride. Park toward the middle and toward the opening of the spot so every driver can see that there is something occupying this space. It doesn't apply in this scenario, but remember that you are on a scooter, and having a scooter comes with some certain benefits. Now, I'm not advocating for you to park illegally and for you to block walkways or any kind of wheelchair ramps or anything like that. But certain grocery stores have told me in the past that I should park up toward the building, not in the parking lot at all, because it leaves a spot open for a car and also makes sure that my scooter is not going to get knocked over. Places like Fred Meyer that have much larger walkways than this New Seasons on North Williams does have plenty of room for you to park next to the propane tanks or next to the bike racks. You can park right next to the building and not have to worry too much about anything happening to your scooter. When the security guards tell you to do it, you know it's okay. The main thing is you just want to think to yourself, what is someone else going to do that's going to potentially screw up my situation? Are they going to back into me? Are they going to see me? Do they have enough room to get out? Do they have enough room to pull forward and turn out of a spot, etc.? Alright, that's about it for how to park defensively on a scooter. I'm going to skip the recap. If you need to see it again, just rewatch the video. Time to go get some lunch. Hopefully this video has helped you out, and hopefully it keeps your scooter upright, and that you are not one of the 30 to 50 people we will see this year who've unfortunately had their scooter knocked over. Hopefully it saves you some money, some time, and some heartache, keeping your scooter nice. Alright, thanks everybody. This is Andrew here at Vespa Portland, about to get some tacos. See you next time.